I know what Britain needs. It needs Christian knights to take part in this crusade, and it is a holy war. Courage produces truth, beauty, justice, and light. And we are at war against far left totalitarian propaganda. We're at war against communists, socialists, Marxists, and Islamists who slander and smear you so that you doubt yourself, so that you stay silent. They're bullies and thugs. Their tactics are despicable. They also use their rhetoric, as we're now finding out, which is a key component of far left totalitarian propaganda, to incite other people to want to commit murder and to act as terrorists. Our policy is incredibly clear. No member of Islam would be allowed anywhere near high command at UKIP. Just a full stop there. It's a very, very easy thing to comment on.
Nick Tenconi is the leader of UKIP, a party, of course, which has a real history in British politics, behind the Brexit revolution with Nigel Farage in charge. But Nick has taken the party in a different direction. He has taken to the streets. Watch this.
You've been lied to. You've been told your country isn't yours, but it is ours. This land is ours. These streets are our streets. These churches and parishes and schools, the government, it all belongs to us. I say, send them home! Send them home! Send them home! Send them home! Everybody wave. Two streets! Two streets! Two streets! Tell the nation! Ladies and gentlemen, the far left, the Islamists, they always try to crash conservative events.
Enough is enough. It's time to rid that building of traitors and the liberal elite who despise the ordinary hard-working man. We're taking our country back, ladies and gentlemen.
Outspoken studio for the first time. You are a different breed of political leader. Britain hasn't really seen a political leader like you in the modern era. You are on the streets. You are taking the fight direct as an activist. This is something quite different, much more of a cultural type of movement like the one that Tommy Robinson has led. But of course, you are the leader of a heritage political party, which has previously seen people like Nigel Farage, Henry Bolton, even more recently, Neil Hamilton in charge. What's behind this very dramatic U-turn in terms of the style of leadership within UKIP?
If you're enjoying what we're doing here on Outspoken, please consider joining our thriving community over on Substack, www.outspoken.live. You can sign up completely for free, but Substack is so important to me. It is a free speech platform. It protects me from big tech cancellation. Plus, you get to communicate directly with me. Head on over www.outspoken.live, enter your email address and sign up today.
So certainly, with regards to my predecessors, these were different times, bubbling away under the surface. The cauldrons have all been bubbling away. So where are we at? Our enemies are the communists, the Marxists, the Islamists, the socialists, and behind every liberal is a socialist, behind every socialist a communist. Liberals love to talk about being right-wing and small c conservative when it suits them after a glass of wine. They love playing both sides of the field. So I think we have a massive problem with liberalism, a liberal narcissistic personality disorder, burying the head in the sand, cowardly behaviour. Then we've got middle-class Christianity, which is an absolute bastardisation of our faith. So if you look at everything in the last 10, 15 years, obviously it's been building up ever since the Second World War. More libertarianism, individualism, liberalism, corporatism, vulture capitalism, bringing in the worker bees so all the corporations can earn as much money as possible, not the same as capitalism. If you look at everything top down, we need something completely new, completely fresh, completely bold. It absolutely has to be the case that the Patriots, Dan, realise that we have fallen so far from grace. We must put Christianity front, centre, back. We must put Christ first. not cultural Christianity, not Christian heritage, or any talk about Christianity, the one true faith, having anything to do with laws and constitutions. All of that may well be very true. The one true faith is either the one true faith or it is not. We have fallen from grace. So much has changed. And when you look at it, the British people, the working man, deserves a better class of politician. They deserve a better class of leader. They deserve something young, incredibly passionate, and I would have no issue with someone saying, using the word aggressive either. We need something different, which is standing up to the deep state and to the globalists, who are essentially the once you go past the communists at street level and the liberals that bury their head in the sand and the Islamists who have murderous intent on our Christian brothers and sisters, there is a globalist deep state saying you shall not pass and you will not have control over your sovereign borders. So we have enemies everywhere, including the rise of a potential far-right threat also in Britain, as you well know, which begins with ethno-nationalism and ends with your goose-stepping neo-Nazis. What we need is something courageous, brave, and bold. So in terms of my background, my education, what influences me, I knew at the start of lockdown, Wuhan, November 19, that something satanic, something evil was coming our way. And I don't just mean evil, wickedness, darkness, people do atrocious things. Something supranational, something that was incredibly powerful and incredibly manipulative. And we saw that and we got pushed into lockdown. As a self-employed man, I was told I couldn't go to work for 9 months, but my bills kept coming. So most people by now know...
So that was your radicalization moment?
Yeah, most people by now that was the turning point. That was the radicalization moment. I will fight back. My degree, my education, all of this from the last 20, 25 years has been building up to this, being self-employed, being independent, being my own boss, a working man, always dealing with being in B2C environments as well, always having customers. I know generally what people want and how they think. And also that was my former business as well, was to transform lives through coaching and mentoring. So it's very much the case when we talk about why the change with UKIP, what's behind it. I know what Britain needs. It needs Christian knights to take part in this crusade, and it is a holy war.
Well, I was going to ask that. Do you view this as warfare? Because, of course, we heard Elon Musk on stage at the Uniting the Kingdom rally on Saturday say, you don't have to talk about violence, but violence is coming for you, whether you like it or not. And, of course, the mainstream media reaction to that was to slam him for encouraging violence. Well, no, they even go one step further, don't they? Even GB News saying, outrageous, Elon Musk incites violence. But is it him inciting violence, or is it actually being aware of what we have suffered as a Christian country now, certainly since 2005, which is Islamist terror attacks and the fear and the threat of them on a constant basis?
Yeah, absolutely.
So did they declare war?
Yeah, absolutely. So sort of linking back to what I think we need and a radical U-turn for UKIP, etc. This is exactly what we need. It's not cultural Christianity. It's not Christianity by heritage. It is the one true faith, which courage is the greatest virtue and is one of the most noble and holy virtues that's taught in Christianity. Courage produces truth, beauty, justice, and light. And we are at war against far-left totalitarian propaganda. We're at war against communists, socialists, Marxists, and Islamists who slander and smear you so that you doubt yourself, so that you stay silent. They're bullies and thugs. Their tactics are despicable. They also use their rhetoric, as we're now finding out, which is a key component of far-left totalitarian propaganda, to incite other people to want to commit murder and to act as terrorists. Words are important. I'll say that again. This is a very important quote. Words are important, and words, both words and actions, have consequences. And with the murder of our boss at Turning Point, Charlie Kirk, God rest his soul, we're now seeing that take place. Now, you couple that with individuals like Bob Villan. No one knows who this guy is. I certainly didn't know about him. And then the latest video, which I think was today or yesterday, maybe.
So this week he has said that he's encouraged celebration of the death of Bob Villan, but he's gone one step further than that. He has made it very clear that this is part of a left-wing campaign, including in the UK, to take out enemies
Yeah.
with violence, which I always believed.
Yeah.
I mean, the moment it happened with Charlie Kirk, I thought that's what this was the start of. But for him to be on stage, leaning into that, and having an entire audience whooping and hollering and supporting him, I think shows not just how far the left have fallen, but how dangerous they now are.
Yeah, so linking the points together, what we've been trying to do with the Patriots for some years now, and especially in my tenure in the last over a year now as leader of UKIP, is to explain what far-left totalitarian propaganda looks like and sounds like. So initially we thought it's to slander you, it's to smear you, it's to shun you into silence. These are bullying tactics. Shut up, otherwise we'll call you a Nazi, this type of thing. This is why Christian courage is required, and the knights are now once again required, because it's courage that overcomes fear. It's courage that stands up to the bullies.
But how far does this go? Because let's look at this from a political perspective, right? Because you are the leader of a party, you have a policy platform, which presumably you're going to be developing ahead of the next election. So there were some people on stage at Uniting the Kingdom who, for example, have called for the closure of mosques in the United Kingdom. And Middleton, who I spoke to for Outspoken after his address on stage, stood by his comments to actually, he didn't say at all levels, by the way, so he's very clear he doesn't mean at like a council level or a councillor level, but he doesn't believe that major political roles in the United Kingdom, presumably including the Home Secretary, who is now a fundamentalist Muslim, should be held by people who are believers in the Islam faith. Is that politically palatable?
Yeah, certainly. So where we're at is our policy is incredibly clear. No member of Islam would be allowed anywhere near high command at UKIP. Just full stop there. It's a very, very easy thing to comment on.
So just to clarify that, because I don't even know if you're allowed to do that in this country. Like, would you be happy to fight that in the courts, for example?
But first, let me hit you with a stat that's honestly terrifying. Data breaches worldwide went up by 211% from 2023 to 2024. 5 so-called mega breaches exposed millions of people's private details in one swoop. That could easily include you, your phone number, address, even your health records. And here's the kicker. Once your data is out there, it doesn't just disappear. Data brokers, shady directories, and people search sites keep buying and selling it. Anyone from criminals to stalkers to potential employers can dig up your life in just a few clicks. Now that's why I use Incogni. I want you to think of it as hitting the delete button on your online footprint. With a single sign up, Incogni automatically tracks down where your information is being exposed and gets it removed. Not just once, they send repeated requests so your data stays gone. And with their unlimited plan, you can even flag any websites that's publishing your details, like court records, random databases, you name it, and Incogni's privacy team will take it down for you. It's hassle-free, it's effective, and it gives you genuine peace of mind, because the truth is simple: they can't harm you if they can't find you. So don't wait until the next data breach hits. Go to incogni.com/outspoken right now and get 60% off an annual plan. That's incogni.com/outspoken. Protect yourself, your family, and your future. Just click on the link in the description box below or the QR code on screen. But now, back to the show.
Yeah, certainly. So, I mean, there's no discrimination at UKIP whatsoever, but there's a difference between, so for example...
but if you're Muslim, you wouldn't be able to take a senior role in the party.
You wouldn't be anywhere near high command, no, absolutely not. It's a Christian country, and unfortunately, after October 7th, we look for the peaceful moderate Muslims to extend the hand to socially conservative Christians, be they Catholic or Protestant or Orthodox, and stand with us shoulder to shoulder. We didn't see that. It's been 2 years almost to the day, well, almost, and we still don't see that. The Islamists are the snakes, but the moderates are the tall grass that they hide through. We are, and slither through. We are at war. So the hand, as ever, on record as saying, remains extended to peaceful, moderate Muslims who are not Islamists, who are not part of radical Islam, who do not subscribe to Islamism or radical Islam. And we say, stand with us as typically a socially conservative religion, and declare war on radical Islam.
But I mean, how do we deal with these mosques, Nick? Because no one is talking about what is going on in these mosques. Now, I know a lot about this because I actually used to live in a part of East London where a lot of these mosques operate. And I know for a fact, because I have spoken to people, including on the show actually, with Sahel Ahmed, who was a young gay Muslim who very nearly blew himself up at Canary Wharf because he had been radicalized. Actually, no, sorry, I want to be clear. He didn't nearly blow himself up. He nearly placed an IED in Canary Wharf. It wasn't going to be a suicide bomb, but he intended to set out to kill large amounts of people because he was radicalized in one of these mosques operating in Whitechapel. Do you know what I mean? In East London, right in the center of our capital city. And at these mosques, Nick, British-born youth are radicalized to the point where gay people like me should be pushed off the top of skyscrapers. That is literally the teaching of those mosques.
Sure.
And women should not be allowed to leave the home. And this is being taught within these mosques. And as far as I can see, there is no plan by any political party in this country to actually tackle the teachings that are going on inside of these mosques.
Sure. So let's be absolutely clear. What you're referring to now, which I think you've done spot on, by the way, is stages. The first stage is to declare war on radical Islam. So there's 80 prescribed terrorist organizations in the UK. 57
Shut down the Sharia courts.
Yeah, 57 out of the 80 are prescribed jihadi, radical Islamist, etc. So every single one of those organizations, members, proponents, splinter cells, terrorist cells, anyone who knows that in mass deportations and remigration, they're all going home.
And you're hardline on this.
Hardline on this. And that links to the...
So what? So if you have, just to be clear, because this is obviously becoming a really critical issue, how it's done. So you're saying if you have any links to a radical Islam organization, you will be re-migrated under UKIP policy.
Yeah, so 5 pillars, Muslim Brotherhood.
Even if you were born in this country.
Yeah, it makes no difference whatsoever. So re-migration, as you know, refers to citizenship deprivation, so you're going home. So let's just say, for example, minutiae examples aren't helpful, but to go a stage further for your audience, someone is being monitored, going back to the 57 out of the 80 prescribed terrorist organizations. Let's talk about that in terms of individuals. There's 45,000 terrorists on MI5's terror watch list, 39,000 are radical, Islamist, jihadi, Islamist, etc., etc. So anything where they don't have to have been found guilty of a crime, but they are radical in orientation. They've said radical things. They're part of the radical indoctrination and the radicalization program in the mosques, for example. A lot of these people will have criminal records. A lot of these people they'll have it on intelligence, will have it on tape.
And does this include anyone involved in the Pakistani Muslim rape gangs?
Of course, absolutely. Anyone found guilt, everyone who took part in the rape of Britain will be deported.
But Rupert Lowe has even gone one step further and said, if you were part of covering it up, or you were shielding a family member, because we know that goes on. I mean, I've spoken to Sammy Woodhouse about this. You know, the families are very complicit, Nick, in what goes on. Like, would you go as far as Rupert Lowe and actually say those people should also be deported?
Yeah, certainly. And I definitely would add in, I'm not sure that Lowe has the monopoly on that policy. There's a lot that we've come out with in the last year, which then gets recycled. But no, to be absolutely clear to your audience, anyone complicit in the cover-up must face the consequences as well. So, for example, if they are someone who is of European or British heritage, for example, and deportation is simply not possible. There is a line with deportations and remigration, but you're talking about prison time. And that goes for everyone. So councillors, we know that the girls and the fathers went to councillors, mayors, police constables, detectives, bronze commanders, gold commanders, silver commanders, MPs, anyone you can think of that we can find who aided and abetted in shutting their mouths for the sake of diversity, as that appalling tweet, which, as we know, Naz Shah liked and retweeted, I believe. Anyone involved in the cover-up there will be treated as the most heinous of crimes. And just in some cases, I'm not a judge or jury. That might be 6 months in jail. It might be 5 years. It might be 10 years. But we must achieve justice for the girls and the suspected over 1 million girls interfered with. Not just girls, by the way. And that's still happening to this day. as well. So this is a lifelong project that you guys like you and I, and when we finally achieve power, our legacy we pass on to the next generation. This must be remedied in context that there is no consolation for this sort of thing.
Well, indeed, because, you know, we'll come to Charlie Kirk and I want to speak more about him later. But for example, you know, he was one of the people who led the charge in terms of speaking about the threat of Islam in the United Kingdom. Geert Wilders, after his death, was prepared to repost some of his comments, which very ironically, Nick, could actually probably see you locked up in the United Kingdom today under slippery stummer. But I know what you're saying, by the way, when you're talking about the radical Islamic groups. Of course I do, and you do have to deal with them first. But do you agree with Gad Saad, you know, the author of Suicidal Empathy, brilliant academic, who says, and, you know, he's called me up on this before, by the way, so I will hold my hands up and say I sometimes maybe make this mistake too. But he says it's pointless talking about extreme Islam. It doesn't exist. You're just talking about a faith, and it's all extreme.
So I'm completely clear on this point. My hand remains extended to what we call the peaceful, moderate Muslim community. You will be declaring and decreeing that this is a Christian land. You will be a part of a society which says, I want to work, pay my tax, and I want to get on with my life. And I live in a Christian land. We are postmodern. We live in a globalized era. 4.1 million Muslims here. You and I have both met good people before.
Absolutely.
Raja Mir is a good
Absolutely.
example. Obviously, I'm not aware of his status, practicing or otherwise. And I will not let those people down. Just like our enemies on the far right, fringe as they may be, have a very big problem with a certain demographic also. So my hand remains extended to those peaceful, moderate individuals who 100%
crack down on the extremism going on within the mosques.
The mosques that foster extremism must go and will go and will be demolished.
Because that's my concern, you see. I just don't see anyone tackling that or prepared to tackle that issue. And the problem is a lot of these mosques actually operate as if they are very respectable.
Of course.
And then the teachings
So I mean,
are very, very much against the native population.
I think there's a number of things to consider here. So under a UKIP government, putting Christianity back into the heart of government not only means XYZ to our most vulnerable within society, our elderly, disabled, women and children. And it's going to be truly glorious when we do it. But it also means we're going to end the defunding of Christianity. It also means there'll be no more funding or promotion of other religions in anything to do with society, public society and taxpayer-funded money. So there's ways of doing things. We must crack down on the... I disagree with Saad. I think there is a very big problem with Islamism and with radical Islam. And my message to those peaceful, moderate Muslims who proclaim to be peaceful, moderate, my hand's extended, but I wouldn't poke the bear on it. And that's
because
my
obviously
line.
we've seen a lot of people who probably think they are peaceful and moderate actually act in ways that absolutely are not. For example, in regards to Palestine actions.
Thank you so much for watching Dan Wootton Outspoken. Please click on my face just to the bottom left to subscribe to this brand new independent news source and turn on the notification bell so you'll be alerted to our brand new live shows, uncancelled interviews and special royal episodes. Outspoken is also now available as a podcast, so you can listen to the show every weekday on the go, wherever you are.